Hello, Konnichiwa. Good morning to you all. So, you already know what is happening and why I'm here again. The new Bleach chapter 536 came out called Everything But the Rain, opening 9, The June Truth. So, this chapter, well, it's good and also continues to reveal stuff to us. And I kinda in my preview video that I made, I kinda get it right in some part of the predictions, not all, but a part. So this chapter starts in the inner world of Masaki with Isshin fighting the Olo and uses Getsuga Tensho. So we learn or we have the idea reinforced that Ishin always has the knowledge of the technique for Getsuga Tensho, and this is kind of goes to my theory that I guess Getsuga Tenshu is a family technique because we already saw a few chapters ago when Ishin used that fire type attack that changed his sword Zanpakuto. So uh, I will be betting on it. That Getsuga Tenshu is a family technique that belongs to members of the Shiba family, or in the least to the heads of the Shiba family and his direct descendants. So then we have Masaki talking with Ishin inside her soul, and she's naked. And I guess she, in the end, she was not worried about seeing Ishin there, but she was worried if he was alright, what happened in Soul Society, and whatnot. And I guess that she, at the end, she tried to kiss Ishin or something like that. It's a very funny moment, the interaction between Masaki and Ishin. And then we go to real time action. We see Urahara, we see Ishin, and at the same time we see Masaki awakening, kinda shy, and it's funny the interactions between her in her inner world alongside Ishin, and then outside when she was awakening, and we see Ishin in the human body already, and with Urahara. Then we change pace, and we go to Ryuken, and Ryuken already left the Urahara shop, and when he came outside there was Katagiri waiting for him, and she kinda asks if if he did leave Masaki with the Shinigami, and he says yes, and his expression is quite heavy, let's say on that way. um, and he is very disappointed with himself because he's kind of feeling guilty because he was unable to protect the Quincy race. He tries to send Katagiri away, she refuses, and she reinforces the idea that her main duty is to protect him. Uh, and has a small flashback when she was younger and was presented to Ryuken, and this kind of reinforces the idea that most likely she is in love with him, and she wants to protect him, and she is sad when he is sad. So there is the connection between Ryuken and Masaki, uh, and she is actually crying because of the sadness she feels from Ryuken. Um, and kind of this makes Ryuken comforted in some way, I guess. And then it ends with him telling, okay, let's go to our home. Um, then Ishin continues telling what happened. Like I have said in my preview, apparently Masaki left the Ishida mansion after her graduation from high school, mainly because since her blood is no longer pure, the princess decided that it was time to let her go. And Ishin kinda explains to Ishigo that the one that decided on that was Ryuken, that decided to part his own ways with Masaki. And then also Ishin explains that he was in the human world. He kinda opened the Kurosaki clinic with some knowledge he get from the times of his times in the academy, and that Urahara kinda helped him integrated himself in the human society. Then Masaki goes to the university, and their relation continues progressing, obviously. Um, I think that Ishin also explains that he kind of tried to lie to Masaki, that saying that he was expelled from Soul Society, but she apparently see that understand that that was a lie, and that there was other reason behind it. Um, um, Sorry. Uh, uh, and then he also he remembers in, dates with Masaki. Remember the date with Masaki at a movie, and he again reinforces one thing that was already reinforced in the early stages of the manga, that Masaki was kind of the sun and all around her shine. Um, and then apparently they indeed their relation kept progressing, and eventually Ishiki is born. Uh, and Ishin also explains that when Rukia came to this world, and after that first fight with Gatowo and so on, and the transference of their powers to Ishigo and so on, this kind of made um, um, the Shinigami powers of Ishigo awaken. Also, he also explains that the training he did with Urara and enabled Ishigo to get his own Zanpakuto. Um, Also, in their fights, in his fights in Soul Society, also his all inside was also awakened. And he explains that the fact that the hollow inside Ishigo was released simply means that the Reiatsu of Ishin was no longer enough to keep him in check. And he explains that at that moment the link between Ishin and Olo was broken, and he regained his Shinigami powers. Uh, um, there is something that I don't understand, that is in page 17, that Ishin says, Ishigo, what you experienced after you were born is something you know very well. There's no need for me to explain it. I kinda does not understand what this sentence means. Did something happen when Ishigo was born? Something related with the hollow power inside him? I don't know. But it's kinda strange sentence. Um, And then Ishigo continues talking, that there is still one thing that Ishigo does not know, that 9 years ago, in the day of 70th of June, when his mother died. Uh, and he goes telling that to listen closely because he will now be explaining the real reason why Masaki died, and that's the end of the chapter. So this is kind of my synopsis of the chapter. Now on my thoughts on it. Well, this chapter was pretty much interesting. Um, because we see how the relation between Isshin and Masaki progressed along the years. Also, we see that in fact, the Quincy's, the Ishidas, kind of let Masaki go, apparently by Ryuken's decision that he decided to let her live her life the way she wanted, and apparently also about because there is no longer a need for Ryuken to marry Masaki because the blood of Masaki was no longer a pure blood Quincy. Also, we see on the side note kind of a small evolution in or a more confirmation between the link or the connection between Katagiri and Ryuken, and apparently she is kind of in love for Ryuken since they are very young, and she kinda is able to comfort in these moments of sadness and whatnot. Um, and like I say a little ago, that sentence about after the moment she was born or something like that, there is, I don't know, there is something on that sentence. Something happened when Ishigo was born. I don't know exactly what could be. I'm guessing that it could be related with the hollow powers. Maybe they kind of research at that moment. Uh, Either in Ishigo they appeared or they kind of resurfaced in Masaki. I don't know. And then apparently Ishin is now going to tell Ishigo about the death of Masaki the day she died. So I'm kinda interested to see what Ishin knew about why and what is the reason why Masaki did die. Uh, so this is kinda interesting. I think that like I also say in my preview video, I was expecting to have 1, 2 chapters more of everything but the rain. I don't know if Kubo will wrap it on next chapter, but it's quite possible that he wrapped that the flashback all the story about Masaki on the next chapter, and maybe eventually he will go to Soul Society or to Ecomundo or something like that. But this is a good chapter, a good explanation. It confirms uh, several things. Also, there is the story progression. Kubo did it very well. Uh, he connected all the points about the evolution of the relation between Masaki and Ishin and so on. He kind of explained why Masaki left the Quincy's. Eventually, give a small hint about Katagiri and Ryuken's future, I guess. And that's all. So this is my Bleach review for chapter 536. Hope you enjoy. Stay well. Peace.